Hello, welcome back to my channel Christian Faith and Fiction. My name's Lou and today I want to share with you the Christian fiction books that I am most excited about or most interested in that are releasing in the first part of 2023. So I've been taking a look at the new releases that are coming out next year in Christian fiction, and I'm going to be focusing on this video from January to April and then do some couple more videos of the same kind as more books get announced later in next year. These are books that either most interest me or they are I'm most excited about, and these are the books that I'm putting on my wish list to read at some point in the future. I may not get to them, when they first come out for various reasons, but hopefully at some point I'd like to read these ones. So as we're going through, let me know if any of these books sound interesting to you as well. So in January, we're starting off with Dark of Night by Colleen Coble, which I think is book 2 in that series. It's an Annie Pedersen series. Back in Rock Harbour, I think she's done a series there before. I haven't read book 1 yet, but I did put it on as an anticipated read in one of my previous videos. At some point I'm hoping to pick them up. The book 1 description is to do with 9-year-old Annie Pedersen's life changed the night her sister was kidnapped, and she's sort of searching for answers with that. I enjoy Colleen Coble's books. They're like romantic suspense, contemporary ones, so hopefully I'll pick that up at some point. And then also in January is Yesterday's Tides by Roseanna M. White. She is one of my more favourite historical fiction authors. This one seems like it is set in both the Second World War and the First World War, in 1942 and in 1914. And this is following Evie Farrow, who is living in Ocracoke Island. And then German U-boats start showing up in the waters around them, and a special agent is washed ashore. Then in February, in Spotlight and Shadow by Rachel Scott McDaniel. This seems to be following Elise, who is a violinist, and she is wanting to audition for the Pittsburgh Symphony, and there she finds an old stage prop which she thinks might be more than it seems. And then this is a dual time period one, so then a century earlier, Sophie is climbing her way into an acting career and has messed up in Hollywood, returns to Pittsburgh and joins a production and makes some kind of mistake which causes her to be famous. Really, I think the cover on this one intrigues me, and the sort of the theatre and that kind of old-fashioned glamour, and something to do with jewels. So that sounds interesting to me. Then there is The Architect by Jonathan Starrett, which I think is a middle grade book, and I'm not sure which genre it is. There's a golden rule in Phantom City: no one about when the Zeppelin is out. But one night, 12-year-old Charlie Crane comes face to face with the Zeppelin, and instead of finding trouble, she is awakened. So I guess, that could be historical, but to me it sounds a bit like fantasy or even like superheroes. So I'm really interested in that, especially as it's a middle grade one. And then also in February is A Match in the Making by Jen Turano, and partly I'm interested in this one because of the colours on the cover. But also I keep meaning to read a Jen Turano book and I haven't read one yet. So maybe this will be the one that I pick up. This is following Miss Gwendolyn Brinley, who is a paid companion. She suddenly finds her summer turning anything but amusing when her employer expects her to take over responsibilities as an assistant matchmaker. Tasked with the daunting prospect of attaining advantageous matches for her clients, Gwendolyn soon finds herself in the company of Mr. Walter Townsend, the catch of the season, but a gentleman Gwendolyn finds beyond annoying. So that sounds like it could be quite a funny kind of scenario. Historical fiction, obviously, and being forced to make these matchmaking for these other people and for people you don't get on with. And then coming out in March, Codename Edelweiss by Stephanie Landsem is another historical fiction, I think. Yes, it is. And it is set in 1933 in Los Angeles, I think. So it's set in Hollywood, and Liesel is I think she's a single mother who is a Jew. So Liesel is a single mother who has been working for MGM, and she gets enlisted as a spy to spy on fellow people in the German community because they believe that some of them are like Nazi spies. And so she's like trying to find out who is spreading propaganda in Hollywood. It sounds really interesting because like I've read quite a few historical fiction set in the war, but never one sort of in Hollywood, in that combination of spies and the interesting backdrop of the old-fashioned Hollywood. That sounds really interesting to me. Then we've got The Metropolitan Affair by Jocelyn Green, and this is following Dr. Lauren Westlake, whose father promised her that she could accompany him on his Egyptian expeditions, but that didn't happen. So now she's the curator of Egyptology for the Metropolitan Museum of Art. So she gets 2 offers. One is to finally go to Egypt with her father, and the other is to go and be a part of the New York's wealthiest patrons who have become victims of art fraud. So that seems to be like a combination of a mystery of fraud and forgery alongside the historical unveiling of King Tut's tomb. So the Egypt sort of mania that was going around at the time, plus a mystery. So that sounds just really interesting to me. Again, situation and setting plays a big part in my interest in whether I want to read a book. Quite a few of these historical books as well that are coming out, they tend to grab my eye, even though I do read a lot of like different genres of books, but quite often the historical ones grab me first as being really interesting. And then finally in March, Enhanced by Candace Kade is it's kind of a sci-fi, I think it is. It's by Enclave, so it'll be either a fantasy or sci-fi. And it is in a society where everyone's DNA determines their destiny. Being a natural means automatic relegation to the gritty and dangerous outskirts. With the harnessed power of gene editing, the ability to create a superhuman race has transformed the world and offered the opportunity of a genetically enhanced life, but only to those who can afford it. And it's set in Asia and Peking University. So this reminds me a lot of the Lunar Chronicles. So like Cinder is set in New Beijing, that one, and they have like cyborgs and things. This one is like gene edited people who've been gene edited. I'm not sure what that means. Like, does it give you superpowers or something? But it's like set in a futuristic setting in Asia. So that's a really interesting setting to me, and the cover looks really interesting as well. And the last month in April, finally we get a romance book. The Words We Lost by Nicole Deese is a book that's coming out then. I haven't read any of her books yet, but I do have, I've got one on the shelf. I think I've got some others that might be in ebook form, and I keep meaning to read her books because they've been well recommended, and this one just has another cute cover, and the description is about Ingrid, who is a acquisitions editor for Fog Harbor Books in San Francisco. One of her best friends dies and she sort of takes over their missing final manuscript, or is trying to find it, I'm not quite sure. Yeah, so it seems like there's like some past that the characters are going to have to deal with and look into in the process of trying to find this manuscript. I guess that's what that's about. But it's really the author that that makes me want to read that book. War of Torment by Ronie Kendig is book 4 in the Jocelyn saga. And again, this is another series that I keep meaning to pick up. It's a sci-fi series and I haven't started it yet. I keep meaning to pick it up, so it might be a while before I pick up book 4. But yeah, book 1 is like Tertian Space Coalition has blessed every planet in the quadrants with high technology, save one, Drossero. In spite of their tenuous treaty with the ruling clans, TSC has plans for the backward planet and they're not alone. So, yeah, space opera, I guess, space drama. And the final book I have today is The Cairo Curse by Pepper Basham. Actually kind of similar again to one of previous books. This is Frederick and Grace Mystery Book 2, and again another historical mystery book, and it's described as Clue meets Indiana Jones with a fiction-loving twist only Grace Percy can provide. And following newlyweds Lord and Lady Astley. So I think the first book is The Mistletoe Countess. So they're going on honeymoon and take a detour to Egypt. From an assortment of untrustworthy adventure seekers to a newly discovered tomb with a murderous secret, Frederick and Grace must lean on each other to navigate their dangerous surroundings. So that's another mystery in Egypt. It's funny how some books sort of seem to come out at the same time with very similar themes. So let me know down in the comments if any of those books sound interesting to you, or if you already have a favourite book that is coming out that you are really interested in reading. Also let me know, what is it that really draws you to a book? Is it the author? Is it the characters, the setting, the synopsis of the story? Is it the cover of the book? You know, let me know down in the comments. Alright guys, I hope you're having a really great reading week. I will be back again shortly with another video, so make sure you're subscribed if you don't want to miss that, and also press the notification bell if you want to know when a new video pops up. Thank you so much for watching. God bless.